Alrighty, good morning ladies and gentlemen, this is Harry Muppet. Welcome back to another Starcraft 2 Daily Masters cast. Going to be casting an awesome game for you here today. Down at the bottom right side of the map, it is going to be Mr. TaeJa. He is 19 years of age from South Korea, plays for Team Liquid, and he is of course one of the best Terran players out there. Definitely right up the top of my list, and it's going to be very interesting to see how he plays off against his opponent. It is going to be HyuN up the top right side of the map. He is 26 years of age, from South Korea, is sponsored by Rocat and playing for Team Rocat. So yeah, very interesting stuff there, and he is also one of the best Zerg players out there, I would say. So yeah, shaping up to be a really nice game. And unfortunately I'm doing that thing where I start talking really fast and really excitedly way too early in the game, and there's actually nothing happening yet. So anyway, let's move on from that. Let's talk about whatever. I don't know what we can talk about. Hairy Batch is the only other obvious thing. Yeah, and I'm planning on casting the first games today, so they should be up today, tomorrow, probably tomorrow, and just start going on from there on. Still haven't received my last quarterfinal replays, but that's yeah, it's not really much you can do about it. So unfortunate, very unfortunate. So yeah, anyway, moving on, getting into the game. So yeah, not really much happening. I mean, it's going to be a TvZ, and TaeJa does have a very early expansion, so we're going to be seeing a fairly early third for HyuN. And I don't know, it's kind of exciting talking about base timings the first 100 times, but after a while talking about he should get a third base pretty soon. I mean, it kind of, if you've been watching all of my videos, you kind of just like, well, duh, of course he's going to get a third base early. I mean, why are you even bothering to comment about that? I mean, it's a foregone conclusion. So yeah, but I mean, both players, well, it actually looks like HyuN is going to get the early scout and see this base, but Mr. TaeJa has not figured out where the Zerg player is yet, so scouted everywhere except where he needs to scout. So he obviously knows where it is now, and oh, Ling's actually intercepting the SCV. Very nice, and I think they're a little bit faster, so the SCV cannot hope to scout this base anymore. It's going to be falling back. And that's a nice move from Mr. HyuN. He took advantage of the Overlord he had over there, took advantage of the fact that he knew there was a SCV coming, and sent out the Lynx to actually scare it off, which is a very nice move, because, I mean, TaeJa knows where the base is, but he has not gotten a scout. He has not seen what tech structures are there, if any. There's probably not going to be anything, but I mean, a very early Roach Warren coming out, will not be able to scout that. He's not been able to scout a third base, and of course, if HyuN doesn't build a third base, which it looks like he is going to, but if he didn't, and if he went full on mass Ling or mass Roach or something like that off two bases, then that's something that TaeJa would definitely want to be scouting early on. And the fact that he has not scouted, I mean, he could resort to using scans, but that's a horrible decision early game. I mean, you need those, as soon as you get the orbitals, you want to be putting down mules ASAP to try and keep up with the Zerg economy. I mean, he's got, what, how many mules has he got down? He's got 2 mules at the moment, and he's still lower. He's a little bit over, but he's having a lot of trouble competing with HyuN on the middle income, simply because HyuN has so many more. There we go, couple of Hellions coming in. These guys are going to get a bit better scout off. Sees the third base down there, still being built, very nice. He's going to go over, maybe going to be scouting the 4th base. Maybe? I don't know, you'd have to be a crazy Zerg player to be going for 4 bases at the moment. But the Hellions, oh, they'd love to get up here. I'm surprised they don't go around the backside, try and come in here and sneak past. But maybe that's what their plan is. So the Hellions going in, the Ling running out as soon as it saw the Hellions coming in, and 2 more Hellions coming in. Are they going to go around the back way? Not sure, no. They are not going. They got it. I reckon it's a beautiful option to go around the back way. Of course, it is going to get scouted by Overlords, but I reckon these guys could go all the way around and then cut through by the time the Queens get back to block that path. I mean, they're so far out in front, it's just not even funny. But TaeJa, man, he's yes, he scouted that. There he goes, coming around the back way. The Queen's way out of position. He's going to get a free ride into this gap right here. Oh no! HyuN very, very fast on the draw, building up that Evo chamber to block that. And I think TaeJa was a little bit slow anyway. I mean, he could have gone straight for the gap, decided not to, decided to kill some Lings first. And yes, unfortunately did not get in. But I mean, there's really nothing to see back here. And he doesn't know there's nothing to see back here. But yeah, what can you do? So he's got a massive amount of Hellions, actually 8 Hellions at the moment, which is pretty nice. He's got his Banshee as well, but with 4 Queens, it's very, very hard to just go in there and do anything about it. He's building up a 3rd base as well, converting that into an orbital, getting a whole bunch of barracks up, getting his macro up, so he's aware of what's going on in the map, which is good. And yeah, he's been sort of keeping HyuN on the back foot a little bit. Oh, here we go. Hellion, the Lings coming out, but their Lings have no chance, man. We don't have Blue Flame. I thought maybe we did. Oh, the Queen sniping a Banshee. Very, very, very nice play right there. And it's very hard to snipe a Banshee, but I suppose when you've got 4 Queens running around, it is a little bit easier to do. And here we go. The game plan from HyuN is starting to come out. We do have Roach Hydra play sort of on the way. It looks like he's getting the upgrades for the Roach Hydra. Starting to be a bunch of Roaches coming out. His income in a pretty good spot, but TaeJa continuing to build out a ton of guys. And now with the 3rd base on the map, it looks like HyuN either has to kick his macro into the next gear or try and do something about these bases. And he does have a bunch of Lings coming around here. A bunch of Marines are defending, but I don't know if these Marines will be enough. And meanwhile, we've got a bunch of Roaches coming out. Where are these Roach numbers? They're all over there. So here we go. The attack is coming in. Lings going in there. It's open season on the workers, and quite a few workers are going to die here. The rest of the army coming out, chasing away the Lings. Some of them survive, some of them do die. And meanwhile, the Hellion force still scouting around the map. We still got 1 Banshee. There it is. The Banshee is over there. Look at that sweet transition from one follow to another. That was awesome. So yeah, the Banshee just flying around the map. Oh man, chasing away this Overlord. Oh, it looks like HyuN is moving out with all of his Roaches. He has 30 Roaches at the moment versus only 2 Marauders and 18 Marines. He needs to get his Banshee back here ASAP, because I don't feel good about this battle right here. These Roaches are going to dominate everything. Look at that. They basically one-shotted the bunker, and they're doing an insane amount of damage right here. TaeJa very, very hard pressed. He's got his Banshee back here. It's going to be a little bit of help, but he needs to be pumping out the Marauders majorly right here. Workers trying to sneak back. There was obviously a couple of Lings going out there. He had no way to defend that. Roaches running off, but they keep coming back, and neither player really has an overwhelming amount anymore. HyuN has lost enough Roaches where it's on even footing, and with the Banshee continuing to hit him and the Marauders being killed by the Medivacs, is being pressed slightly on TaeJa's favour. So at the start he was hopelessly outgunned, but he had a little bit better units. I mean, Marauders with Medivac support and the Banshees. So he was able to slowly turn the tide in his favour, but it was a bit touch and go right there. And how many workers has he actually lost? 10 so far, which is not a small amount. So yeah, I mean, that's definitely not going to be helping him. HyuN up to 87 over 68, and just doing a fantastic job. He's got the 4th base out. He is doing great with the workers, and now he's going to be going for an insane amount of absolutely everything. He's sort of switched off the Roach Hydra. He's gone into Mutaling, still getting a little bit of Roaches. So very nice diversification in his army, and not building the range upgrades anymore. So 1 is going to be enough for now, apparently. And we will see what happens here. 1 Marine coming out just for a bit of a look. Knocking back the creep over here could not be a bad idea. But the Ling's just wiping that guy out ASAP. And man, TaeJa, what is he going to do here? He's got a lot of forces transitioned into mostly Marines with Marauders, which is actually a really, really good play from TaeJa. It's one of those things. You saw Mass Roach before. A lot of players would go for Mass Marauder after that, like 1 Marauder for every Marine. And I suppose HyuN was sort of counting on that, because he went into Mass Mutaling, and Marauders would have been absolutely useless in that case. But TaeJa didn't. He went for Mass Marine still, with a couple of thoughts from Muta. So obviously he's keeping his scouting going. He's got a good idea of exactly what HyuN is doing. He didn't fall for the mass roaches, going to be like, oh, it's roaches all day, every day. He either suspected that Mutaling was the next transition, or he did a beautiful scout and found out for sure, and he got exactly the composition of units that he needed. So still building one Marauder, but a ton of Marines, getting 3 weapons, medevacs, building a 4th base, and building Thors as well. So TaeJa well in control of his unit composition, going for exactly what he needs to go for. And he's doing a great job. Look at all these changelings right here. Does manage to take them all out. I don't know if he took out one of his own Marines at the same time, but did a great job. And so far getting some very, very nice splits in here. The splits have been awesome so far. And he's still losing quite a lot of forces to the Marines. He's very, very low, critically low, in fact, in all his forces. The medevac's going to have to shoot back out of here. Reinforcements coming in. The Thors have come down, but they don't have too much ground support. So Lings can just come in here and annoy them, and the Mutas are actually taking care of the Thors by themselves. And the medevac shooting out, grabbing the Thor at the last second, pulling it back, not running away with it, but just pulling it back. And the Thor is going to come down. So TaeJa taking a little bit of losses there, but his macro is still in high gear. Continuing to just jump out a whole ton of units, and once 3/3 upgrades comes around, he is going to be absolutely spectacular, because HyuN has been... That's the problem with diversification, is you don't have really good upgrades for any particular unit. You've just got okay upgrades for all of your units. Whereas TaeJa, man, he's going to have 3/3, and he's even got 2 weapons coming on the way for his Thors. So he is going to be in a fantastic, fantastic position for his upgrades. Oh, the Mutas coming in. Oh, they're not quite going to be able to do anything here, though. The army is too close. They were hoping to snipe some workers off, but it just didn't happen like that. HyuN, however, is going for a 5th and 6th base, so he wants to push this into the very, very late game. He says, well, you know what, TaeJa, he's got a pretty impressive income. I got to get an even more impressive income. And he's been mining for so much longer that he's probably starting to wipe out these bases. At this base, he's only just rebuilding, so he must have lost that at some point. But there we go. Medevac coming in. That guy's not going to be able to do too much. Here we go, the forces coming around. TaeJa sees it, goes to defend. These Lings not going to be able to do too much. This is going to be a planetary, which is a very wise move, being so close to the enemy player. And yeah, just look at this. HyuN's all over the place, man. Absolutely all over the place. And the creep spread needs to be a little bit better. I mean, he could creep down this center line a little bit more. Where is his Mutas? Where is his anti-air? He hasn't been building Mutas for a while, I don't think. He's got 9 of them somewhere, but right now he's just getting upgrades and a ton of Lings, an absolute crap ton of Lings. So maybe still focusing on the Baneling play, but I'm not sure what his play actually is. It was Mutaling. I would not be surprised if he decides to do something different. He's still going for mass Banelings, but mass Muta is obviously a little bit hard to build a ton of them when you're starting to get attacked all over the place. His macro is still good, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's going to go for something like Ultras later on. Maybe he's planning for Ultras. He is going to be building those Mutas. And so far, despite his incredible macro, I mean, TaeJa has incredible macro as well, but yeah, I mean, look at this army coming in. I don't know what HyuN has to sort of defend against this. He's got a ton of Lings, he's got a ton of Banelings, he's got a small amount of Mutas, although he's building a ton more of them up here. And there we go, waiting for the perfect opportunity. TaeJa feeling a little bit confident there, pushing right up the ramp. That was perhaps not a good decision. The Thors absolutely got wasted right there. And HyuN choosing to sort of sit back and wait till a perfect location before going in. There's still a decent amount of Marines and 1 Thor, and they are managing to survive, where the rest of the Terran army just got absolutely obliterated on the top of the ramp right there. And reinforcements coming in, but of course HyuN has his own reinforcements who are still on the way. More Mutas coming out, more Marines, more Thors, more Banelings, more of everything on this map. And now TaeJa, putting up the ramp for the second time, has an opportunity to take out the Spire, and this is going to be very, very awesome if he manages to do that. Spire goes down. No more Mutas for now. He just has to worry about Lings and Banelings for now on, and Roaches, of course. And here we go. Banelings running on in. Do not manage to hit this center group of Marines. And the Mutas and the Roaches coming on in, but not really doing a lot. TaeJa looks like his army is almost falling apart, but with more reinforcements coming in every second, manages to hold it on. And HyuN just could not, just eventually could not deal with that. I mean, he had a good macro, but then again, so did TaeJa, and TaeJa just did such sick transitions, man. I mean, after the mass roach, he transitioned into the perfect counter for Mutiling at the same time that HyuN was transitioning into Mutiling, and that was a stroke of genius. And from then on, TaeJa just seemed to have his shit together. He really, really did. He just kept pushing in, kept doing great attacks. The splits versus the Bailings were awesome. The inclusion of Thors were awesome. And he just won it. Just did a standard, constant reinforcement, insane macro, throw everything at the other player and eventually wear him down. Terran versus Zerg victory. And it was fantastic. So there we go. Beautiful. Thank you very much for watching. I will catch you guys tomorrow. This has been Hairy Muppet. I hope you enjoyed this game.